guys, tired of trying to make that burly beard of yours look and smell good? Then check this out. Straight out of the Motor City, where they know a thing or two about being tough, comes Detroit Beard Collective, specializing in making that facial hair look good with products like beard butter, beard oils and soaps, specialty combs, and so much more. Come check out the line today at DetroitBeardCollective.com. DBC takes pride in using Detroit and Michigan-based companies and ingredients in all aspects of their product development and manufacturing as they continue to build Detroit's premier grooming company. Even burly dudes like to look and smell good, and DBC will make that happen. Do yourself and your badass beard a favor and log on to DetroitBeardCollective.com and check out all the amazing products they offer. And when you're ready to check out, use promo code SJPDBC to receive 10% off. Detroit Beard Collective, cleaning this world up one beard at a time.
Murky waters lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all
But
time.
soon the whole world shall grovel before the genius that is.
Comics are cool.
Take a look at that. I see great possibilities for
Comics are cool.
We have gathered together the most ruthless villains on earth.
Comics.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am
Comics are cool.
the legend.
Welcome back, everybody, to Comix Cool Presents, the show where I drop an interview and talk just for a couple of minutes to introduce people. Now, I'm going to get right into it, but before that, because I'm not going to get right into it, I just want to let everybody know that the Rob Gilroy episode that I posted on Twitter is going to be pushed back just by a little bit due to technical difficulties with the audio files when we did the recording, not the interview. The interview sounds great and amazing, but we're going to kind of push that back just by a little bit. But today, this week, I promise these guys, they are amazing. They're awesome. I told them it was going to be out this week, and it's going to be out this week because that's what we had scheduled for, and I'm going to quit talking. Today, in the studio, pre-recorded, we have two awesome guys to talk about this new Comix Tribe comic. It's kind of like a weird sci-fi, medieval style series. It's essentially about a sword, but in an entirely different manner. So sit back, relax, listen to these two guys. This book is called The Wailing Blade, and here they are, Rich Douek and Joe Mulvey. Rich is the writer, and Joe is the artist, and both of them are going to come on and talk about The Wailing Blade from Comix Tribe. And guys, take it away. Hey everybody, welcome to the Comix Cool interview segment. Hopefully you liked that really weird explanation of the author and writer. So now we actually have both of them on because they were both able to make it, and they're awesome, and I'm probably going to screw up their names. So here from Wailing Blade, we have Richard Douek and Joe Mulvey. How's it going today, guys? Did I do it?
You nailed it.
Perfect,
Yes,
yeah.
perfect. All right. How are you doing, you guys?
We're doing
I
good.
just want to say one thing. If you have trouble with our names, you're going to be fucked in comics, dude. There's a lot of people out there with some wild names.
Dude, I'll be honest with you, I suck at names. I'm really bad at them. I tried interviewing Ram V, and then he told me his full name, and I was like, we're just gonna call you Ram V, okay? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try. But guys, you guys are here for Wailing Blade, and for everybody who doesn't know, just what exactly is Wailing Blade, and how did it come to be? Don't talk all at once.
Wailing Blade's our new science fiction series coming out through Comix Tribe. And it kind of came about when there's this science fiction author I really like. His name's Jack Vance, and he wrote this series of books called The Dying Earth. which
Yeah.
were kind of set in like a very like kind of far future, like mashup of like magic, technology, and all that kind of cool stuff. So he passed away, I think, in like maybe around 2011 or 2012, and I was just kind of inspired to like, as sort of like a tribute to kind of write a story in that sort of setting. So upon thinking of that and going through a lot of things, eventually came up with Wailing Blade, and after a few kind of false starts, got hooked up with Joe, and he's been knocking it out of the park as far as drawing it goes.
Why are we trying to like polite this up? Like, we're an honest bunch of creators. Let's tell the real truth of why Wailing Blade became to be. Years ago, there was another artist attached to this, who's a very talented artist, and he had never done interiors before. After doing about 6 pages of interiors, he had contacted Tyler James from Comix Tribe and said, doing interiors is really hard. They're really hard. I don't want to do them, so I don't want to do the book. And then the book kind of sat on the shelf for a little while, and without art to even show it around, Rich couldn't shop it anywhere. And then Rich and I were having drinks one day of the alcoholic kind, and as we were discussing things, I'm like, I think it's such a good idea. Don't give up on it, blah, blah, blah. And then I think by like the 3rd or 4th round, I literally said, fuck it, I'll draw it. I don't like sci-fi. I don't draw sci-fi stuff. I'm not a sci-fi guy. I don't like that stuff. All the references he just said literally went straight over my short bean head anyway. And I was like, no, it would be really cool. I was like, but I'm going to redo everything from the way I saw it. And Rich will even tell you, to this point, I think the first issue's taken me like 4 months to draw, because I'm like trying to draw everything uniquely. So like when you open this book, you're not going to feel like you're in anything else. And anyway, yeah, so that's how Rich and I have known each other for years. But now that's how we got to work together.
But then it's like, but Joe is like, he's always like, I'm sorry it's taking me so long. And I'm like, no, dude, it's like everything you're doing is amazing, because he's putting so much time into like the design work, that it's like it really just shows through. Like everything like just looks better than I could have imagined it when I was like writing the script. So, totally cool with Joe taking his sweet ass time.
No, and I agree. I think because Joe's artwork is absolutely beautiful. Like when I opened this book, and this is gonna sound really weird, I like gore books. So the bloodier, the more like I'm totally in. When I saw that guy get his head lopped off and just the blood splatter, I was just like, I'm really gonna enjoy this, aren't I? And I was like, sold for the fact that Joe can just draw just blood splatter and just death phenomenally. Just hooked me. And also people riding giant wasps, that's pretty cool too. But what?
Oh, dude, as we speak, I'm drawing like a mutated ostrich, and it's just super cool. And I gotta say, like, I literally was like, oh man, I should not draw sci-fi. I should not draw sci-fi. I don't like sci-fi. And I'm loving absolutely drawing all of this stuff. So
yeah, Joe, didn't you like not even see Star Wars until like a year ago or something?
Yes.
What? What?
I had not seen.
Sorry to out you.
So, hold on. This is why the time frame on this interview is not going to even count. But literally, I never saw it because I felt like I had it ruined through pop culture. I'm like, I know what happens. I get it. At one point, Luke and Leia kiss each other and their brother and sister, and Han gets put in some sort of gigantic tin foil, and there's a fat guy that has a slave planet. Like, I felt like I knew everything that happened. And then when Force Awakens was about to come out, I didn't want bad Harrison Ford. Like, I didn't want to see bad Harrison Ford, so I didn't want to go back and see the others and see good Harrison Ford and then have to sit through it. But Force Awakens, when I first saw Han Solo, I'm like, okay, this guy's cool, and then it made me go watch the originals.
Wow, dude.
It's not the list of movies I have not seen will anger a lot of people. I'm very it's insane.
I'm actually angry. Like, I'm about to just call this interview quits after that. But so how exactly did Wailing Blade? Well, first off, why don't you explain exactly what Wailing Blade is before everybody's like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?" So
okay, all right.
Okay.
So,
you want to take this, handsome? You want to take that?
Sure.
Both of you guys are bald, so you're both pretty handsome.
Well, we are. It's true. Too much testosterone. Just too much damn testosterone.
Okay, so basically, Wailing Blade takes place in this, in kind of like the far, far future of Earth, where mankind is
Galaxy far,
sort of
far.
gone out to the stars, brought a lot of like crazy stuff back, and the whole kind of like star empire has fallen, and now mankind's kind of on their last legs. Like, you know, it's reverted to like a feudal society where there are these very few pieces of technology lying around that people don't really understand. And the people that do understand how to use it are the ones that are kind of subjugating the rest of humanity. And so you've got this guy named called the Tyrant of Minturn, who controls a large swath of land, and he's kind of rules it with an iron fist through these very feared executioners who carry like some of like the last weapons from this previous starfaring age. And the most famous of these executioners is the Head Taker, who carries the Wailing Blade. And basically, sort of every year, he sort of just goes around the region, going from town to town, executing whoever needs to be executed, who's committed a crime that year. And through sort of like the fear of that, helps keep the population in line. Well, it's kind of like similar to how it was like in the Old West, you know, like in the Old West, like there's these like towns that are just like really far away. So, you know, there would be judges that would actually just that's what like circuit court, that's where the term circuit court comes from, is because like these judges would sort of do this circuit where they would like travel from town to town, you know, because they couldn't be everywhere at once. And when they got into town, it's like they would hear all the cases that were sort of piling up for a while since the last time they'd been around. So this is kind of like a similar thing, just way more brutal with lots of beheadings.
So it's like the Purge, but with only one guy.
Yeah, kind of.
Huh. Wow.
So anyway, so that's one side of the coin, and then on the other side you have these sort of bandit groups, and one of them is called the Wind Cleavers, and they're these are kind of like a ragtag band of scavengers, who are doing their best to, you know, stay free. And the way to do that is one way to do that is capturing technology that that the tyrant can't get his hands on. So in the book, the main character, Tychon, who's sort of like a young prince among the Windcleaver clan, starts this raid that winds up going really bad. His father gets captured by the forces of the city that they're trying to raid, and gets marked for execution by the Head Taker. So the question comes, how is Tychon going to save him from execution? And that's pretty much like what the story of the miniseries is how he goes about that.
Interesting. And I'm really digging this book so far, especially the colors of the story is honestly, it's kind of addicting because you don't exactly know. First off, the world's is only set up by small blips, but I like the evolution of the main character. I don't know. I'm just a sucker for the blood and guts, and also the kind of like the weird medieval sci-fi stuff. So I'm always on board with that kind of book, I guess. So, Joe, what was it like drawing Wailing Blade exactly? Because you said you don't like sci-fi. So how were you able to kind of adjust your style to drawing sci-fi?
Over like the natural progression of my style, I'm just getting kind of more illustrative and more cartoony, and like it's more just the fun of creating stuff. So originally, like I'm a guy that would have always assumed himself to be very happy doing stuff in the vein of like Batman, Daredevil, stuff that's like, you know, street based, where it's like tons of brick walls and cityscapes and all that kind of stuff. And then when it got to this, I don't really know when the switch flipped in my head, but I just remember telling like Rich, I just kept having to say it has to be unique. It has to be unique. Like the color pattern has to be unique. like even if you look, every single part of the environment that's around, like I have all the trees and everything that comes up from the ground because it's supposed to be this post-apocalyptic world where shit's gone really bad. Literally all of the stuff that comes out of the ground twists, and it's all almost like as if it had to fight to get through the soil to get to any sort of bit of the environment to continue to live. So like even the environment and the shrubbery and everything around is like fighting to get through the rotten land and all that kind of stuff. And I think at a certain point I just kind of, I kind of dove into looking at some sci-fi stuff I haven't normally checked out, like not the originals, but the new Mad Max. And this is going to be another thing that's going to sicken some people. I just saw the Alien movie for the first time, like the original, and then all the subsequent sequels. Yeah, look, let's move past it, otherwise we're going to spend way too much time. And then like I was picking up Black Science by Rick Remender and Matteo Scalera, and like looking at all these things, and kind of all of a sudden I think all this and Seven to Eternity by Remender as well, and like I think, wow, now that I'm doing this out, I think a lot of fucking Remender stuff is going to sit in me because that's low and all that stuff that's sci-fi. But anyway, it all kind of just came together, and in my head something clicked, and then honestly I think I got super excited for the project once we finally settled on the sword itself. Because right now you've seen only one aspect of the sword. You've seen it being carried and being used for an execution. But when I tell you this is the most badass sword in the entire world, and the stuff this sword can do is going to blow people's minds. It's going to be awesome.
It's able to leak everybody's deepest, darkest fetishes, isn't it? It's a porn sword. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, that's... We were gonna call we were gonna try to like make up like little sex paddles in the shape of the Wailing Blade and try to sell that with it, but we'll see.
You know what? I've kind of figured that was gonna be a reward on the Kickstarter anyway. Like when I first thought about it,
right.
This has to be an entire there has to be sex paddles of this sword. So what was it like exactly developing these characters? Like what went into the craft of Tycon is the main guy?
Mm-hmm.
Tycon, yeah. I was trying to figure. He said Tycon is how you pronounce it. So, what was it like trying to develop Tycon and the other characters that is in the series?
Well, I think like the challenge with like making any character is you sort of have to figure out like what makes them tick. Like what are they going after, and what do they want, and in order for it to be interesting, like, you can't have these like perfect people,
Mm-hmm.
So for Tycon a lot, I was just sort of trying to think of like, what does he want? Like, and how is that kind of like leading him into trouble? So
watch the rest of the Alien movies. That's why you
yes. So, like, for me, it's like, it was sort of thinking, like, he's young and brash and really wants to, like, prove himself and be, like, sort of like this famous, like, bandit, like, almost like, he wouldn't know, like, the story of Robin Hood, but, like, if you told him the story of Robin Hood, he'd be like, that's who I want to be. I want to be Robin Hood. I want people to, like, think of me in that same way, like, kind of, like, thumbing my nose at authority and being this like really celebrated person. But it's like one of the things that I think he's gonna kind of like learn over the course of the series is that like like wanting that and getting it are like two completely different things. So
gotcha. Now, is the Wailing Blade, is this a blade that you kind of get, or is it like a wielder? Like what? How does one become a person of the Wailing Blade?
Well, the Wailing... No. I mean, the Wailing Blade, like, it's an actual sword. It's a singular, like, artifact. There's not more than one of them. And what happens is, it has some technology involved with it. And when the executioner is ready to use it, it starts wailing, like, literally, like, screaming.
So it's technology, not magic.
Well, who's to say? They say, it like there's that like quote that says like, like advanced enough technology would be indistinguishable from magic. And it's like, like we look at it as technology. The people like in that world, they kind of look at it as magic because they don't understand technology or like how anything would work,
Right.
They just sort of like, no, it's screaming. That's, that's like the souls of the people that it's devoured, or that's, like I kind of see it like as like the people like in this world, like there's just like a whole bunch of legends about this blade and why it wails, and but at the end of the day, it's really just, like probably the most badass weapon on the planet.
Well, I love this Wailing Blade, and I know I'm trying to give this book a lot of credit because it has a lot of credit to it. I enjoy this world. I think the biggest thing is I am interested in this executioner guy. Like he is like with him and Tycon. I'm wondering. I just want to know. It's like, what is their fight gonna be like? He has the ultimate blade, and he's he's a guy.
Yeah, he's a guy.
He's a guy who is just a bandit. So it's kind of like he doesn't have the upper hand, but I want to see how he's gonna get the upper hand to get this blade, or at least if he gets the blade or not. So guys, when exactly are we gonna see Wailing Blade hit the Kickstarter, and when is Wailing Blade gonna pop out? Don't all talk at once.
No.
No. I was just gonna say, like, the Kickstarter is probably gonna be just about like a month from now, because we have some pages to finish and like coloring and lettering and all that stuff in the process. So figure like we're hoping like end of April, beginning of May will be the Kickstarter, and then 20 to 30 days on that, and then figure the direct market sometime maybe like July or August.
Oh,
so
wow.
We're hoping to make this like a Comix Tribe summer event book.
Well, it's definitely building, and I'm looking forward to many more of this series. And I know my voice sounds very unenergetic, but it's also 11 o'clock at night, and I'm also going. But anyway, so Joe, you were actually talking about something too, because I wanted to talk about gutter magic real quick, and then I wanted to talk about Joe. You have a book about gun control.
I'm part of a book. It's called Where We Live. It's an anthology that Image Comics is putting out that's available right now for pre-order. And it's literally a massive a book that's meant to like start discussion about gun control. It's not pretty much for or against. It's kind of more about let's have the conversation. It's not jump to conclusions about stuff, and let's try to get narratives and different stories and different situations explained through the means of a comic book story. So it's it's like something like a 300-page collected anthology with ridiculously talented comic superstars. I mean, it's like Brian Michael Bendis, Cliff Chang, Neil Gaiman, Joe Mulvey's obviously the top billing.
Of course,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, that was in my contract. But yeah, no, like there's, I mean, the list is like 150 creators strong. It's J.H. Williams III, the phenomenal comic creator, is the guy. He lives in Vegas, so this is him spearheading it. Will Dennis is the editor that's helping out, and Eric Stevenson and Image Comics are the publishers that are good enough to help put it together and get it out to the comic market.
Dude, I'm excited for this. This sounds awesome. I like reading about this kind of stuff. I've read like March, Black, and a lot of these other like controversial books. I love that kind of stuff because I like being offensive and also like controversial. What's it like being a part of such a powerful book? Because this is about the Las Vegas shooting, essentially, right?
It is, and it's also about how people are dealing with it, stories that led up to it, that it's ancillary stories about it. It's funny because like I've just done a lot of really, really comic booky projects before, like where it's action and all that kind of stuff. And this is about the story I did with Aaron Long is about Aaron Duran. I'm sorry. Is about this guy who's kind of grown up with guns as part of his culture and how it's been a point of confidence and fear at the same time for him. And the drawings, I mean, I think are some really, mine are just some really different type of stuff for me. But I hope it also comes across well. Like, it's gotten really positive reviews from people. I'm also someone who hates my stuff 3 seconds after I'm done with it, so I'm not the best judge of that. But yeah, it's crazy. It's really impressive to see how well Will Dennis, Michael Perlman, there's these other people who are working to put it together, and it's just the amount of talent on it is just, for lack of a better term, fucking amazing. Like,
I gotta say, the pages I saw from Joe, like the ones you drew, I thought they looked amazing. So
I was really hoping you were gonna say they just look absolutely terrible.
Compared to Wailing Blade,
Right.
Right. Because I said, can I fit one beheading in these pages? And they said no. So I said, well, I think that's where you're wrong. But yeah, and it's exciting to be like part of something. Like, I'm a talker. I'm a chitty chat guy. I'm from a small town on the East Coast called New York City, and I like to have discussions with people about stuff. I'm not a standoff guy. Unless you're a fucking Pittsburgh Penguins fan, I'm a big hockey guy. If you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, we got some shit to talk about. But
damn,
I'm hoping the book starts a dialogue and starts people talking, and hope that obviously all the proceeds, every single penny, goes to the charities for the victims of the shooting that obviously happened. Unfortunately, in Vegas. Yeah, it's a real good charity. It's a real good event, and everyone should buy 3 copies of the book.
Absolutely. Actually, buy 4. Buy 4.5, because the half you'll need as well. So, Richard, I wanted to touch briefly on Gutter Magic. Did you ever expect Gutter Magic to kick off so well?
No, actually, I mean, I Gutter Magic is like, it's a story I was working on for like many, many years before it actually came out. So it was really like, like a passion for me, and I was determined to get it out one way or another. And like, I always like kind of hoped people would enjoy it and people would like it, but I think like the response to it was like amazing. And I was like, couldn't be happier with like how well it was received. Getting it done. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was about to say, did you ever feel like, Comix Tribe just was like, guys could have picked this up. Now I'm making millions off of this.
No, well, I'm not making millions off it yet. We'll see. Give it a couple of years. But no, I mean, but I think like, there was like a certain point where I would have been happy to put it out with Comix Tribe if IDW hadn't picked it up. Because like I said, I've known Joe and Tyler, the publisher, for years, and I think they're great. And it's just kind of the opportunity to put it out with IDW came around, and I was just like, okay,
right.
No offense to Comix Tribe, but it's like, to get a book like, with a company like that, like out of the gate, is just like, it was just something I felt like I had to jump at.
Absolutely, dude. And plus, you gotta, whenever somebody, again, when everybody, picks up your book, just roll with it. It could be even, the small time publisher, like the now no longer Monkey Brain Comics or Black Mask. Anyway, I won't get into Black Mask. So guys, unfortunately, we are out of time, but thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, I'm excited for Wailing Blade. I think it's cool. The gore in the book is beautiful. Joe's artwork, anyway, so Richard's story is amazing. I love the whole sci-fi, almost medieval feel to this series. I'm excited to know what more is in store with this fantastic looking first issue and fantastic story that we have set up. It's about a guy who swings around a giant blade that screams at people. You can't really go wrong with that. Like King Arthur.
Hold on, I have to interrupt you for 1 second. If you think the blade is cool, we never said there's only one awesome weapon in this universe.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's true.
Oh.
You have this question of how's he going to get the Wailing Blade? He might need to use other weapons at his disposal. Who knows? Who knows? And if you think the swords are cool, wait till you see the axes.
Is there?
That's all I'm gonna say.
Does the axe just like complain a lot and yell racial slurs?
Well, that's the book. Our next book is called The Whining Axe.
But guys, do you have anything else to say to the fans of this book or the soon-to-be fans of this book?
I'm going to say one thing if I can,
Okay.
Rich.
Sure.
If you guys are listening to this, and if you guys don't know who Rich Douek is, you should go and read everything he's written. He's brilliant. I've seen all the pitches he has going out after Wailing Blade. His scripts for Wailing Blade are phenomenal, and he could not be a nicer guy. So I'm going to say, check out everything that Rich Douek does, because the man is comic book royalty.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn, Joe.
I mean, you did do some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff.
Yeah, I did an issue of TMNT Universe. Came out last year. I believe it was issue 11.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun to work on. And, you know, hopefully I might be able to get back to that universe at some point. You know, nothing is like concrete yet, but still trying. So yeah, you know, I have like a lot of original series that like that I'm pitching around that, you know, hopefully will get some traction too.
If
sorry,
write a Casey Jones series. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just
no,
saying.
I love Casey. I love
do too.
Casey.
So
but yeah, so I could say the same exact thing about Joe. He's one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite people, and just in general, but also to work with. He's just, you know, amazing at like bringing the stuff I write to life, and just a great collaborator. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about him.
You know,
well, you can try.
I could try.
Very least
Yeah.
try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Please.
He's not that short. He's not
Yeah.
that obnoxious. His voice doesn't sound like Joe Pesci and Minnie Mouse had a child. There's things you could say.
You know, I was not gonna say that your voice sounded like Joe Pesci, but if we're bringing that to the table,
It's true. I know my brand. I know who I am.
Yeah, you're Joe Pesci. Let's just bring that out
That's
to light
it.
right now.
Done.
Secretly
this
Joe
is why I
Pesci.
retired from acting, so I can do this.
But no, seriously, support Where We Live when that comes out soon, which is May 30th. Support Wailing Blade when it comes out. You guys will see the Kickstarter. If this does not come out, this interview comes out before the Kickstarter, I will be posting it around and blogging it and talking about Wailing Blade once it comes out, because I'm a nice guy like that. So you guys can't tell me that I'm a dick.
I will tell you
know what?
for a whole different reason, and I genuinely appreciate you having us on to talk about it.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, so do I. And just one more thing, if people are interested in checking out a preview, they can go to wb.comixtribe.com and sign up to download the issue that we sent, you know, the preview that we sent you that was available at Emerald City.
The Ashcan?
Yeah, the Ashcan. They can download it, they can check it out, and sort of see if it's something that they would be into, well, you know, when the Kickstarter rolls around or when it's in stores. But yeah, thank you so much for having us on. It was great chat.
Absolutely, guys.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, and I love the fact that you guys have, first off, a story behind this book that ended in alcohol, essentially, and I like that, because I'm kind of an alcoholic. But, guys, again, please support Wailing Blade once that comes out, once the Kickstarter hits. We need more books like Comix Tribe, because Comix Tribe just writes really great material. I don't think I've ever seen a book that has not been good from Comix Tribe. Sync, Oxymoron, and then we can now add Wailing Blade to it. Oh, and Chum, but now we can add Wailing Blade to this legendary comic book publisher that is Comix Tribe. So guys, again, thank you so much for coming on, and, well, I'm going to end on an awkward note, but have a good night. Take care,
awesome,
guys.
dude. Thank you so much.
Of course, absolutely. And Rich, Joe, again, see you later.
Later, dude.
Take care, man.
Bye.
All right.
3. Rich, Joe, thank you so much, guys, for coming on and chatting with me about Wailing Blade, or The Wailing Blade, whichever way you want to look at it. You can go to comixtribe.com and get the 19-page preview of this book free right now if you go to comixtribe.com and check it out. Now, guys, my name is Chad, and you guys have been great. Joe, Rich, again, thank you so much. I really, really recommend check out the Wailing Blade. If you like gore, sci-fi, swords, and robots, and other weird fantasy-type things with a sci-fi twist. Now, guys, please check us out online on Twitter, which is Comics Are Cool, or you can also follow me on Big Geeky Couch, which is our vlog channel on YouTube. You can also send me an email at comicsarecool@gmail.com. And other than that, though, I'm out. Stay tuned for more Comics Are Cool. Now, keep in mind, Comics Are Cool, the next interview with Rob Gilroy is going to be coming out, and that is a full podcast with Bub at the helm with me. There is small talks about me and Bub doing Comics Are Cool together, but we will definitely be hashing that out soon. So, guys, again, my name is Chad, Joe, Rich. It's been awesome. Please, guys, again, check out Wailing Blade, and peace.